This may have been the fastest nerf ever. Shaffar Hunter was nerfed in 6 hours after the expansion was released. This deck was absolutely disgusting in terms of the way that you were able to summon your Zerglings with the buff from the Shaffar as early as turn 2. It was extremely consistent due to the ability to tutor out specific cards in your deck, and Niall obviously made it sure it was busted too. So watch as the gameplay footage that in front that shows and demonstrates the ability of this deck, and the reason why it ended up being banned from standard. The I believe with the next patch that ends up coming out, it's going to be a Shaffar is going to become 2/2 or something along those lines because Zerg can't actually have a nerf to it like that because otherwise the it will completely change the Death Knight class, which has a lot of buffs going onto those Zergs as well. So it will be very interesting to see how they end up adjusting Shaffar. But I feel like Shaffar is going to get changed into a 2/2, or it might even get changed into. I hope it doesn't get changed into a 1/1, but it may end up getting changed into a 1/1 because of that. But yeah, enjoy the gameplay footage, and if you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Next turn for me is probably just going to be playing down the Worm. I could also use tracking to be able to get other stuff, but I don't have a particularly strong turn 3 play just yet. So I'm just going to use the Worm here, and then I'm just going to trade into the 3/4. It means that it could get me the spawning pool. Unfortunately, it didn't. It just got me a Zergling. But I will be able to use that Zergling to get buffs onto my other stuff, because the only other card that's in my deck is a Zergling. It looks like they're using their Titan Forge traps here, so I do need to be very careful that it's not an ice trap, because if it was an ice trap and I play the Shaffar, it means the buff wouldn't end up going onto my Zergling. So I'm going to need to, this turn, just use a spell and check to make sure they don't have an ice trap on one of those. So I'll just go here with the Shimmer Shot into the 1/1. It ends up being an ice trap, so luckily I didn't go for that sort of play. I'm going to use my tracking here to see what I end up getting. I choose the alien encounters, obviously. And then I'm going to use my Shimmer Shot just into the 1/1. It means that I've established my board a little bit, and then I'm just going to go face with this. I was a bit worried that they'd have a bait and switch, so I didn't really want to trade into that just in case. The issue that's here, though, is if they do end up getting their Shaffar, they will end up posing quite a lot of a threat, because this will end up giving them rush onto their minions. What I do need to also think about for my because they're probably also using the Forge sort of list too. And they probably just grabbed another ice trap just then. So they've also got down these guys as well. So I'm just going to trade and see what ends up happening with this. It is a bait and switch, so I'm not too concerned about that. I'm then just going to trade my 3/3 into it. Actually, it doesn't really matter. So I've already tested for all the things that can happen with the Niall, so I'm just going to play down this dude. And I'm going to use my Track King. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's going to be it's going to be an Ice Trap, so I'll just use the Fetch. It ends up being an Ice Trap like I expected. And then I could just use the Fetch again if I wanted to, and the buff still goes onto there. Or I can use Tracking. I'll use the Tracking because I want to get my Alien Encounters buff ready. And I'm just going to grab out the Always card. And I'll just trade the 3/3 into this 2/5. It helps me get the board ready. And then next turn I'm going to be able to establish my Zergling again. The problem is at the moment they do have the spawning pool, so since they've got the spawning pool, they're going to be able to use Rush to be able to clear my board quite easily. I do have the advantage of having my tracking online a lot earlier, but it is something that I do need to watch out for. So they're using their Zerglings to trade, which is fine. I think they're just going to trade the 2/2 here. Yep. And they play down another Alien Encounters and a Sneaky Snake. So they are board locked at the moment, and they're not posing an exceptional amount of damage. Like, it's quite a lot, but the yeah, the issue that they will end up facing in this sort of spot is that they don't have any easy way at the moment to clear what I'm going to be summoning in a moment too. So I'll play the Zergling here. I'm then going to use my lower cost fetch. It will get out the other Zergling that's in my deck. The only unfortunate thing is, since I don't have the summoning pool at the moment, I can't get a buff at the moment. So I'll just play this, and I am looking for this summoning pool, which I unfortunately don't have. Of these, Sneaky Snakes is probably the best. I can't play this down because I don't have any way to rebuff onto my thing, so I'm just gonna have to use the Titan Forge traps and then get out my alien encounters. Of these, I'm probably just gonna go Rat Trap because I feel like they're gonna play quite a few cards, and then I'm gonna put a bait and switch onto the board, and then I'm just gonna use alien encounters. I'll probably have to use both because I don't really want to be taking an exceptional amount of damage. And then alien encounters the second time. Possibly that turn it was better just to use the worm, but next turn I'm going to be getting the spawning pool as well, so it probably was better just getting the worm and then getting the guaranteed summoning pool from it. Okay, so bait and switch goes live. I've got a 5/7 onto the board. They've got their Shaffar online now, so at the moment they have 2 Zerglings in their hand. And they're using a barrel of monkeys, so they don't have too much at the moment. Like, I have the bigger and more aggressive board at the moment compared to them. I ended up getting a summoning pool, which is quite good for me. So I play down the summoning pool. I'm going to use the summoning pool. Unfortunately, theirs is going to be active next turn, so I do need to be very careful about that. I'll play down my Zerglings, and then I'll use the Nidus Worm. It gets the Zerglings back into the deck. I'm sorry, it gets the Zergling back onto the pool. I'm then going to trade here. And I'm just going to have to do some trading, I think. And I'm going to do a tracking here as well. I am looking for now for my I'm looking for my Patchwork Pals. I'm just going to pass here. So they'll be able to activate their spawning pool next turn. I'm hoping that they don't have too many cheap spells because they're going to be able to do a bunch of rushes as well. With the Sneaky Snakes, I'm not too scared of that. Like, it pushes the buff into that hand that's there, but it does board lock them of that one particular spot. Their 3/2 is going to trade into my 5-drop, that's fine. Into my 5/1. And then they're probably, like... I've got a decent amount of damage on my board as well, which is something that's important to be thinking about for me. The Rat Trap also summoning too when they use a bunch of their spells and things will be important. Why did they use that onto my minion? I got no idea what they were doing. Yeah, this Shaffar deck's pretty busted. Okay, so they're gonna do some trading, but they won't have Rush next turn. So, I don't exactly know what they were planning with that. Okay, so play down my spawning pool, play down this. I'll use my tracking. I get the Patchwork Powers now, which is really good. Play down my Zergling. I am just going to take an extra turn to chill. I'll get this out into my hand, and then I'm just going to play the 4/4 from it. This can trade into the 1/4. They don't have any other rush minions, which is useful for me. And then next turn I'll have the charging turn. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be enough to be able to threaten them because, like, they do have a buff, but they don't have any sort of charge to be able to deal with this sort of stuff. And even if they do, I can just use this plus this to be able to take out whatever I want. I still have no idea what they were doing with this. The always jog mana. Because next time I have access to Rush, like I feel like they should have ended up winning this game, because the spawning pool that's here obviously is extremely powerful for being able to use this in combination with having the big buffs on these guys. Are they just? I think they maybe just be hoping that the charge minion was able to do enough. That just felt completely incorrect. Okay, so they're playing down that. I'm just gonna get rid of my lower cost guys. Okay. Now I do have Rush, so I play this down. Just play it onto this. Yeah, like it's, you know, I don't particularly know what they were exactly planning on doing. I'm gonna say this deck's probably going to get nerfed, because you shouldn't be able to get such big dudes like that. The card that will get nerfed will be Shaffar, because there's too much riding on the Zerg. What, the 60... That's quite expensive. Is that the mythical one? I don't have the funds to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm playing against a Rogue. I don't know what he'd be playing. Like, he could be playing Shaffar. He could be playing... I'm gonna think it's gonna be Shaffar, or it won't be Cycle. Because Cycle, obviously, with the nerf, I don't think he'd be testing it on day one. You just went for the purchase anyway? The worry about it later decision? Okay, so tracking here, I think I'm just getting the alien encounters and passing. Next turn's going to be bird watching into Shaffar. Yeah, that definitely is a YOLO decision. Okay, so they're just chilling for this turn. I always just go bird watching here. Grab at the Shaffar. Next turn's going to be the Niall. Grab Dubious Purchase, I'm assuming. Or Chrono Boost. That's fine. This turn, I just play down the Niall and chill. Okay, coin Zilliax. Okay. It's quite heavy. Like, Shaffar's the reason why you can really play it. I'm gonna go for the tracking here. I'm gonna have to get this alien encounters onto the board to be able to deal with these. I'll do the tracking again to be able to reduce down my alien encounters. Barrel of Monkeys is good. I'll play down the spawning pool so I have access to a minion too. And then I'm just gonna play down my alien encounters. And do I want to trade into this 3-4? I think I do, because then they'll have to, if they do a trade, they'll end up doing it that way. I don't think there should be a way to be able to take out my minions. Okay, so they're buffing their Zilliax. I got another alien encounters, which is really strong for me, so I think I just play down... I do the hero power. I grab out another Zergling from here. Put down Shaffar. Do an alien encounters. Trade into that. Trade into this. Play this out and then... Just chill, I guess. That was a little bit of a misplay. I don't think they'll be able to clear it. Okay, so they're going extremely big. It's not very likely because you have so many different cards, so you have 8 cards that can draw into Shaffar. Okay, so I'll just fetch first. The buff goes onto here. Use the Tide Pool. Play down this, and then play down a bunch of monkeys. And I'll just use a hero power here to be able to see what I end up getting. Just grab the Shimmer Shot just in case I need a little bit extra damage. I don't think there should be a way to get through these. Obviously the Zilliax being like that is quite daunting. Okay, so they're going for another stealth and elusive. Did I have a lethal done? 6. I think I had lethal. Oh well. Play this. Just get this out of my hand. Yeah. The taunts obviously in that situation were extremely buff. There are quite a few decks that will be viable once this deck gets nerfed. Because this is stupid. Okay, Titanforge Traps, Patchwork Powers, and Barrel of Monkeys. Yeah, that Zilliax was so buff. But I'm pretty sure I did miss lethal that turn. Because I could have dealt 6. And 1? That's only 7. No, it wasn't lethal. I think I just full mulligan everything here. Because I'm trying to get the Niall out as soon as possible. Because Niall essentially is the activator for the deck. Tracking here always. Birdwatching guarantees Niall anyway. Let's just grab the Niall. Next turn's birdwatching into Shaffar. Then turn 3 is going to be using the worm, I'd say. Hopefully getting one of my summoning pools. Okay, so birdwatching into Shaffar. Next turn's probably going to be Nidus pool. Hey, how you going? FVXTRZ. I'm good, how are you? So in terms of learning the deck, like it does involve you learning a little bit, because if you just if you don't understand all the key mechanics to it, like you could potentially end up in a situation where it's a bit problematic, like you have a full board and you don't get the damage. It's not all face, but it is mostly just going face. But yeah, obviously if you're enjoying the stream, please give a like and a follow. I really do appreciate it. This turn's going to be Shaffar. Oh no, it's going to be Niall. Shaffar will be next turn because I don't really need to be doing too much this turn anyway, and I don't want the buff to go onto the Niall. The key thing would just be learning the mulligan and making sure you don't, you're thinking about your board space. I'm going to just grab the Patchwork Powers here and just chill. Thank you for giving a like. Okay, so Prep and Chrono Boost. So it looks like they're playing a similar list to the one that I just played, the Zilliax version. So it draws 2 Protoss cards. They're going to kill that. I'm assuming this is going to be the same as that Zilliax. So the mulligan cards, like, your mulligan's the most important part. So obviously you want to make sure that you're getting what you need to. Then you want to make sure you're getting your alien encounters procs down, but also thinking about your summoning pool as well. You want to activate the first one quite early, but you don't want to use the second one until a lot later on. The issue that I'm going to face here is, like, I'm not going to be using the summoning pool this turn, but the issue that I'm going to face here is with the Zerglings, I'm going to end up drawing, it's going to end up going onto one that I don't really want it to. Landing on the 0 drop is actually really good, because then I can just go this into this and it gets some more out into the field. So I will just go for that. Yeah, spacing out the summoning pools, definitely. I did get lucky with that buff as well. Because with the summoning pools, that's how you end up getting all your rush and things like that onto the board. And there's also the trample card, which you'd use to buff and then go face with. If they have the Zilliax, I'm a little bit scared of that. Because at the moment I still don't have any real taunts. I just have the alien encounters. Yeah, it's really strong. Okay, so they've just got the shadow stepping that. So I've just got the 4 minions on the board at the moment. This turn I just go for Zergling plus Bird Watching. It then buffs this one. I'm going to use the tracking here. I'm not too worried of them doing face to me at the moment. I'll grab the Jorgma, and then I'm just going to get the Patchwork Powers out as well, so I can play the ones out that I don't really want. And then I'm just going to chill. If they end up playing a minion down that isn't stealth, I'm going to be able to just take it out using this. Okay, deal 2 damage to all enemies, so they're clearing most of my board. Do I have lethal here? Oh, they just conceded anyway. Yeah, I think they're 100% going to nerf Shaffar soon. This deck can't stay how it is. Touch. DK Hunters, Demon Hunted Warlock. Oh yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I think I just full keep this. Bird Watching gets me the Shaffar. Oh, okay. I assume they don't want to play against another Hunter. So, the thing about this deck though is and with all expansions, the aggro decks are always the strongest on the first day because there's no refinement with other decks. So you could possibly find tomorrow or in the next couple of days that this deck won't be as powerful as it is today. Keep fetch, keep the worm, get rid of these 2. Okay, so this obviously is a different hand to the ones that I've had before. Fetch, I could possibly get 2 cards from this, so this is always going to be relatively decent. I have a 1 in 2 and 4, so I have a half chance to be able to get the minions that I want with it. So it's either Niall or Shaffar. Niall obviously is definitely the preference. Barrel of Monkeys will be useful because the last time I played against this opponent they were using an aggressive style. Shaffar's fine. Next time I'm probably just going to have to use coin into this. Gets coin into this. It allows me to draw 2 more cards, and I can also get my summoning pool online. Get 2 summoning pools. I'll play down both of them. I'll also proc both of them as well, just so I have them out at my hand. Next turn is probably going to be... I'd say Barrel of Monkeys is probably going to be the next turn. I don't think they have a way to clear if I just play down the Shaffar, but I don't really want to risk it. Yeah, I can do coaching services. I haven't organized anything yet for it, but I am planning to in the future. Like, you're welcome to... We can talk about it later about it. I'm just going to grab the hidden meaning here, because I need to make sure that I need to make sure that when they use all their mana, that they're going to... It will get me another minion onto the board that can apply some sort of threat towards them. The problem with this hand is that that's probably an ice trap. Just because they just played it out of their hand. So I don't want to play the Shaffar down just yet, so I'm going to probably just do another one of my different cards. Hidden Meaning's good. I will just go into face just in case it is an explosive. It is explosive. I'll play down the Shaffar, and then I'll just play down the Sneaky Snakes. It goes onto one of these dudes. And just chill. This should put me into a decent position because I can use this whenever I need to now to be able to get Rush onto the board. So I have 2 sets of Rush. The other thing is that the trample will be quite strong going into the... Yeah, it's definitely a snaky snake. It's a very sneaky snake. The other thing is that they've only got one of the summoning pools, so this is completely opposite to that other time that I played against this style list. So they'll have the buff, for sure. They don't have the Niall, neither do I. That's the only thing that's missing at the moment. So next turn's more than likely just playing this and this. I'll probably keep the Shaffar on the board. Get the Niall out, so I'm establishing some more control against them. Play it, and then I'll see what I end up getting. Alien Encounters is probably the best of these cards. I'm going to keep the... I'll just trade all this, because they're going to have to trade into my 3/3 if they want to be able to do anything. I'm just going to chill. Next turn, I'll be able to access whatever I want out of this hand. Because they'll have to trade into this. If they summon any more minions into their field, I can get rid of these dudes as well. Out of all the Hearthstone you choose. Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you to say. Yeah, so out of these, so if I'm wanting to... I'm surprised they didn't end up using the buff, but it means that they could possibly be getting the Zerglings a lot better out than I have. The snakes here aren't too much of a concern. They're going to do a rush, so they will be able to take control of the board doing this like this, but I'm not too concerned. Because they won't have access to another rush until the following turn. It looks like they're just doing a full trade. Okay, so I'm going to go Zergling into... I'll use a tracking first, just in case I get a 1 cost. Just get the Alien Encounters. Then I'm going to use my Barrel of Monkeys. The problem is I don't have another I don't have another activator for this. Like, I'm probably just going to have to summon this 1/1 just flat. Which is probably going to be the best for me. Like, I can then just do some trades into these, and I can then hold off for the next turn. Just trade those. Next turn I have access to a lot more stuff because my alien encounters will be coming online. Just chill. The problem that I have at the moment is that because of the all these being two mana spells, it does make it a bit more difficult to establish a board onto them. Like, if I had gotten a 1 mana spell just then, I would have been able to get this procced onto this already for this turn. And I then have it the extra 7/7s onto the board. Okay, so it's always this. It's always this. Grab the Shimmer Shot. Always that. Play this out. It gets me the buff out for what I need. Use the Patchwork Powers now. Play this down. Just get the Shimmer Shot out of my hand. And it means that I'm not getting a really weak minion onto the board like that. And I'm just going to trade my 7/7s in so I don't end up board locking myself. But it looks like they may be conceding.